Hey, what's up, everybody? Mogan Monster here, and welcome to Why the Fascination, WTF as we've come to call it. Hope everybody's doing well. Great to see everybody in chat already. Right on. I kind of screwed up. I thought I had to do a take two because, like, I hit the countdown, then I hit the live button, and then I had to hit the other live button. I thought I hit it, and I waited for the countdown and started the show, and then looked up, and it's still waiting for me to hit the live button. I was like, oh shit. Normally it doesn't happen. Well, the other day I forgot my microphone. So chessboard, you asked if I got that link. Yeah, I got that link. I couldn't watch it, dude. I wasn't gonna watch some 85-year-old woman get eaten by an alligator. Sorry, bro. Appreciate you sending it, but can't watch it. Yeah, things. This woman was walking her dog here in Florida, and I don't know why people walk it near the damn water. They know there's fucking alligators in there. Stay away from the water. And this 10-foot alligator came out, went after the dog, and ended up getting her and dragging her into the water and killing her. Just crazy. Today or yesterday, last night, today. When was it? Reporter shows up to a homicide scene with his crew yesterday, I guess. And somehow shooting. I don't know who did the shooting. I haven't gotten that far into the story. I haven't really investigated that much, but you know, a reporter and a 9-year-old girl gets killed. This world's going nuts. Anyway, sorry. Hell of a way to start a show. Rex Hand, what's up, buddy? Stevie B, what's up? For those of you who don't know, Stevie B is sitting right next to me. Mr. Lee. Put my hair helmet on?
Just as much, it didn't show her getting eaten. It was just the article.
Oh, dude, because it looked like it was a video, so I didn't there was no way I was hitting that play button. It was, yeah, just, I knew of the story, you know, I saw it on the news when it happened, but I keep saying it's my biggest fear down here is alligators. So, Jay Fritz, he doesn't like alligators either. 12-footer passed under his kayak. He sold his kayak. Not that I blame him. It's kind of one of the reasons I haven't put my kayak in the water down here is because of alligators. But no, I think if I'm with somebody, I'd be better off. You know, like I'd feel more confident. So I can hopefully paddle faster than them. Michael Haywood, what's going on, brother? Mr. Hand, what's up, Rex? Daily Dan, missed you the other night, man. I was talking about wrestling, and now that's all I get on my fucking YouTube is wrestling feeds. It sucks because every time you go to search something, you know, they send you more of that shit, you know. So I click on one short about the Undertaker, and next thing I know, I'm getting all these different feeds from. But I'm interested, you know. I grew up with that shit. I loved wrestling, and to see the backstories and the interviews of like, you know, people I didn't see, it was pretty cool. So yeah, that's what I've been doing, Dan. Checking out old wrestling interviews and shit. Squatch, welcome. Hey, Murray, great to see you. This is fucked up. I didn't get coffee. Like normally I have coffee beforehand and I can feel the difference. I'm like, oh shit, I gotta do 2 hours. Normally I'm like, woohoo. I didn't make coffee. We went shopping, had a late dinner, so no. Don't you have an energy drink or something? I'd slam a Monster right now. Pun intended. Who else did I miss? I know I missed a lot. Let me go back up to the top. Grasshopper, what's up, buddy? Grasshopper was the first one in the gate today. You were second. Stevie was second.
Number 2.
I should make it whoever the first one is gets a bandana.
Right.
I gotta get rid of these damn things somehow.
Yeah.
No. No, I mean, I use them. I try not to because I didn't buy them for me. Oh, is that why they're so low?
No.
She's been pilfering my bandanas. So yeah, if anybody's new here tonight and you're like, what the fuck are they talking about? What's going on here? Makes 2 of us, dude. Deborah, welcome. Yeah, it is a tragedy, by the way, Deborah. I just don't want. I can't see that. I mean, this with the alligator and everything that went on in the news. That's why I don't watch the news. It's never good. So yeah, as I was saying, if you're new here, what I do is I put the link in chat, and obviously you're in a Bigfoot community, you know. So we I want to say we try to talk about. I try occasionally to talk about that stuff. Once in a while, we get around to it. But we'll talk about anything. You know, you got something on your mind you want to come on and talk about. All you got to do is click on that link and follow the directions. It's pretty simple. If you don't want to be on camera, down at the bottom of the screen, you'll see stop camera. You hit that. Don't have to be on camera. And yeah, we just hang out and have a good time, hopefully. You never know what's going to happen here.
Grasshopper wants to know what your shirt says. All he sees is suck.
Oh, that's all you saw was suck? Yeah. It says suck it up, Buttercup. It had red, so I had to go with the red bandana. You know, gotta have some sort of fashion sense. Deli Dan says, I saw the video. I can't unsee it. Let me post this link. Kind of helps if, you know, I expect anybody to show up. Yeah, so there's a lot of shows on tonight, isn't there? I think Mark's on with over at Sawdust Beast. He's doing a show. I'm gonna watch my numbers go yes, Mark doesn't do too much. You don't see a lot of new stuff from Mark. I got to get in touch with him. I haven't talked to him in a while. Great guy. Bigfoot Michigan Rob, now over there, Texas Front Porch. They got a show going on now. So yeah, I don't expect spectacular numbers tonight. Unless I go an hour longer than them, then I'll get everybody to come over here. But, you know, I don't care. Angel Nolan, how are you? I might have said hi. I don't recall. I can't pronounce that to save my life. Well, it's because I can't see it. Schlitzy Ramon. Welcome. And good day. We got another Hilton. Hilton's from New Zealand. We haven't seen him in a while either. Man, I got to get on people's asses. Come say hi. Did you? Right on. Yeah, I got to go. When I got my glasses, they were one of the lenses was broke on one of them, so they had to make new lenses for it. So I still haven't gone and picked them up. It's been like a week.
How did they call you?
Just that once, really. I think they said, well, fuck him if he is not gonna get back to us. They're here. MPW, how are you? So let's see. If you missed it, what I do is I put the link in chat, and anybody that wants to come on the show can click on that link, follow the directions, and come hang out. Once again, the link is in chat. $47 shows on what live right now, all over. $47 live shows. And is that just? I'm curious. No, it's got to be more than that. There's millions of shows. Not the way I want to leave this earth. No, sir, Jay. That's just too much. What else is going on? Hilda, welcome. All the way from Buffalo, New York. You guys just got a bunch of snow, or you're probably still getting snow, aren't you? That's upstate. See, I'm from Jersey, so I refer to it as upstate, like everybody else in New York and New Jersey does. Yeah, that's upstate. It's like saying down the shore. That didn't take much. Welcome. Can you hear me okay? Are my speakers on? Can you hear me? I don't think she can hear me. Private chat. If you look to the right, there's a listing of names. There's private chat there. Let me why is it not? Oh, okay. I don't think I've ever used private chat. So I'm thinking your mic might be off. You can. Yeah, you can. She can hear me, but we can't hear her. So check your settings. Can you guys hear? Is it just me? I mean, oh, I heard something. I gotta move my computer over. Let's try that. Can you hear me?
Yeah, was I on mute?
Oh, there we go. Welcome.
Hello.
Yeah. Hi. So you're coming to us from New Zealand?
Yes.
Whereabouts?
In Auckland.
Auckland. Very good. Yeah, our buddy Hilton's from New Zealand. I just don't recall where. I don't know which island it is.
Yes, that's right. From Auckland.
So how did you find our channel?
Um,
Are you having trouble hearing me?
yeah, I can hear you.
Okay.
I came across you because I think Nance Warren was on your channel from Buckeye Bigfoot, and I followed
Oh yeah,
her.
yeah, that was a great show. Oh, she's wonderful narrator.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were. I was just talking to Leslie today from Cryptids Canada, and we were talking about the show, and she's still getting comments from it. You know, it was. I guess people liked it. I thought it would be a great idea because you hear them all the time telling their stories, but most people have never seen their face, so I figured bring them all to one place. I love listening to them, so it was a good show. So, what is your interest in? Is it the paranormal? Is it the cryptids? What do you like?
I'm mainly interested in the cryptids, but also paranormal.
Have you had experiences?
Yes, definitely.
Oh, good. Yeah. See, I've never seen things like cryptids, but I've had paranormal experiences, so I know that's possible. So why not this?
Yeah, the cryptids sort of came much later. I've had paranormal experiences for a few years, but it was quite recently because what happened was a friend and I were in a local park and we'd been following the cryptid channels for quite some time. And we started seeing signs of what we thought looked like Bigfoot activity, but we thought, no way, this is a city park. And then we started having experiences that said, yeah, they're closer than we think.
Really?
Yeah.
See, I was told that there weren't really too many cryptids in New Zealand. Like
There are,
Australia has the Yowie and the Bunyip and a few other things, brown jacks but yeah, somebody told me there wasn't too much activity as far as that goes in New Zealand.
there
But
is actually, but
go
a lot
ahead.
of people don't talk about it.
Huh.
The version of Bigfoot we have here is known as the Moihau Man. And there are some people reckon they've seen Dogman here. I never have, but who knows? There might be here as well.
That's interesting. Because we don't get to hear a lot from other places firsthand. I mean, we've heard there's a lot about Australia, but New Zealand, I hardly hear much about. What was it? The Moiho Man?
Yeah, Moihau Man. Yeah.
Is that a Maori thing or?
It comes from Maori tradition. They have stories and legends about those, and they are
Okay.
supposed to be a race of hairy giants. Some people reckon they're quite terrifying, but the experiences I've had have been more benevolent, and it's hard to explain. There's a researcher we have over here by the name of Mark Capel, who's also had contact with these beings. He's got a channel called Mountain of Entities here on YouTube.
And what is it?
Mountain of Entities.
Of Entities.
Yeah, it's worth checking out. He's a researcher
absolutely.
here in New Zealand.
No, I'm glad. I'm thrilled you hopped on because I've never looked for this. Like I don't search out this stuff, but when it comes to I don't know, like New Zealand. Like when I was a kid, I always wanted to go to Australia. Always, I had pictures on my walls and everything. I wanted to go to Australia, but then later on, and I was like, I want to go to New Zealand. So I always looked into the history of it and stuff. But you don't get to hear the folklore. You don't, so it's cool. Oh, excuse me, my dog's just. Excuse me. Move over.
It's a lot of people have had experiences, but of course, New Zealand being a very small country, people don't talk about that sort of thing because they're afraid of ridicule.
Well, that goes everywhere because it's such a crazy subject. Some people are just really uncomfortable, not talking about, but hearing about it because they don't want to think something like that could possibly exist. Be the Bigfoot, a Yowie, or anything out of the normal. I embrace it. I'm like, bring it. Let's, I want to know what's out there.
When I first started having these experiences, I thought, no way this is happening. I'm imagining this, but no, It was real.
When what was the situation? How did you you said you were in a park, but when did you finally realize what you were looking at?
We didn't actually see it, but we heard it.
Okay.
And we're seeing things like structures, what looked like footprints. And then what happened was we were walking past one area and there were 3 loud primate-like grunts right near us. And there was no other animal that could have made that sound.
Wow. There's a few people in chat tonight that have had experiences. I've seen them. My best friend Stevie's sitting next to me. She's heard things like screams, and twice she heard some things over the years. But I never heard anything that like really made me go, what the hell was that? Except once we were together and it sounded like a growl, but it was so brief and I was like, I kind of blew it off. But who knows, you know? I don't know.
Yeah,
I want to see one.
We also heard something that sounded like a yell, scream, roar from further up the hill. And I was like, whoa, that doesn't sound like a person. You know, it gave me quite a fright.
Sorry. Bad habit. I smoke, so. Yeah, I want to see when people say be careful what you wish for. I understand that, but it's that I need to know, you know, if I'm going to invest this much time in this and just have the belief of, hey, they might really be out there. I want to know. So I don't know, but and I don't invest that much time in looking for it though. I put myself in a situation where I'm camping and I'll put it out there while I'm there mentally. I'll say it verbally and just, you know, put my intentions out. If something comes to me, they come to me if they make noise. But so far, you know, she just says you sleep through everything.
Yeah, I'm not the sort who would go out tramping in the bush around looking for them, but yeah, sometimes I think I'd like to see one. The thing is, though, I think whatever cryptids are out there, people and what people are capable of scare me more than any cryptid ever would.
Indeed, I agree with that because we know they exist.
There's a zoo somewhere that's got a display saying the most dangerous animal on the planet, and the display is a mirror.
A mirror, perfect.
Yeah.
I knew that was coming. That's awesome. Yeah, we are a violent race. It's unfortunate. Not all of us, but in you know, we seem to like our whole history has been fought. You know, we're fighters. We fight each other. We kill each other. But it's all throughout history. You know, if there are UFOs out there, I'd be like, I ain't going down there. Screw them. You know, they're too violent. Because our philosophy is like shoot first, ask questions later.
Yeah. Because I can't talk about this with friends or family or anything because, you know, they probably wouldn't believe me. They'd probably think I was crazy. And also there's a lot of people who, even if they did believe, I wouldn't want them to know where they were because, you know, as you said, you know, there'd be people all over the place causing trouble.
Sure. Yeah, I've been doing this for about, I don't know, a little over 2.5 years. And it's been that place where you can just come and not worry about the ridicule because there's so many people in chat and that are listening and watching that have experienced things, you know. So it's like, why would, you know, who are we to say you didn't see what you said or you're nuts, or because we're all nuts then. You know, we're all crazy. So I'm glad you found us and you know, you can take a load off and, you know, tell a story and not worry about being ridiculed, because like I said, we're all nuts. Hey Figgy, how are you? Welcome. Brandy, nice to see you. Helton. Yeah, I always like to say hi to everybody. Have you watched the show before, or is this your first time here?
I've watched the show before. So I saw the one you did with the Queens of Cryptids. I watched that one.
I thought it was a cute name.
Yeah, it was just
I was like,
amazing
what do
to see all these faces.
and hear those voices. I could sit if I had done the whole show with my eyes closed, it would have been awesome. But just to hear them, that's because that's all I ever hear. I go to sleep, listening to these ladies and other narrators. So I was like, I want to talk to these people. So, Caucasian Sasquatch, how are you? Flyby Stew.
Yeah. Anyway, I'll get off, Leon. There's something else happening.
What's that? Oh, I didn't do that. Well, thank you so much for coming and joining us all the way from New Zealand. And she's in tomorrow? It's about 3:00 in the afternoon there on Friday. She's already off work and we haven't even gone yet. She's already got her Friday over with. Well, welcome. Yeah, that was very cool that you stopped in. Naomi, how are you? Naomi says, and we wanted to talk to you. Well, I'm glad. Thank you. Yeah, I keep bragging about that show. That was a good show. Yeah, it was like, I've been talking to Stevie about it for a long time. I'm like, I want to do this show. And I had asked other people as well to come on. Some declined, some don't do interviews, whatever. Now that was perfect. But then I was like, you know what? 3 people, that's the perfect, otherwise it could have got too busy. And I've been talking about this show forever. I was like, I want to do this show. I want to do the show. Finally, I was like, fuck it. Hey, Leslie, what are you doing? And so it happened. Hoax, how are you? So yeah, guys, I don't know if Mr. Lee is anybody else is posting the link in chat, but I will post it right now. There you go. Anybody wants to pop on, hit that button. Yeah, Schlitzy, that was awesome. If you're gonna do it right. First time on the just I don't know if she felt pressured. I was like, come on, anybody wants to come on. Boom, there. I was like, whoa. No, that was great. You did well. You just gotta remember, it's you, it's me, and if somebody else pops on, and it's a normal conversation. I try to make people feel as comfortable as I can. Stevie said the show one time. She said it in chat. She was like, "It's like hanging out at your best friend's house," and I was like, "Oh, right on," So yeah, that was definitely cool. And you can call me Mogs. That's okay. You did better than some, Mr. Lee. No. No. Tina P, how are you? Yeah, you were wonderful. Who else snuck in here when I wasn't looking? Catherine? I think I said hi. Not sure. No, I got Caucasian. Oh, Miss Still. What's up, girl? All aboard the crazy train. Aye. Did you just go dun 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 dun? It was so slight. It was like, did I just hear that? Oh shit. Too funny. I never speak unless paid. Oh shit. How much you want? No. Is there a fee or like what's the going appearance rate? That would suck if I had to pay somebody to come on here. MPW says Rocket Stevie B. Yeah, that'd be a short show. If I had to pay somebody to come on, I'd be like, oh, never mind, I don't need guests. Catherine's like, where's Ozzy when you really need him? I can't read this.
Get back on.
I know. Yeah, Schlitzy, you can come back on if you want, or save it for another day. It's up to you, but you're more than welcome to come back. We'd love to hear about the New Zealand cryptids, like Naomi just said. That is fascinating. I didn't. I gotta have a talk with Hilton because he lied to me. He's like, there ain't shit here. So yeah, I didn't think they had a hominid type creature there, Bigfoot or whatever, Yowie type creature. That's cool. That's cool. I mean, they have plenty of food for those things. They got the big red deer down there, up in the mountains. They're plus all the seafood. It's an island. Very interesting. Yeah, Trackway, a little too soon. Too soon. I'm not posting that. I'm not laughing about it either. Sort of. I'm not trying not to, but the fact that you put it up there is what I'm giggling at. Michael Haywood says, thanks for the knowledge. It is Schlitzy. I couldn't see if it was an I or an L. I'm just waiting for put on your glasses. Where's my glass? Who?
Lee.
Did he?
Yeah,
No, they're in a truck. I gotta go get those lenses changed. And I don't know that I will ever get used to wearing those things. I can't use, I don't know. I think they might have screwed up the prescription in my left eye. Because I put those things on, I see into the future. Wasn't good. I had to take them off. The future. That's what I mean. Did Hilton hop in here? No, that's Hilton. No, it's because Rex says Hilton. I was like, wait, what? A little spelling error. It's all good. I've been smoking the same cigarette for how long? I light it, I put it out. I light it, I put it out. No, this is a new one. Hilda, how are you? Welcome. Hey, Jamie. What's going on, brother? Yeah, I'm thrilled. Hey, Bob Van Buren, what's up? Thrilled to see all these new names in here tonight. That's really good. Being too loud. I guess our roommate Just close the door. I was like, guess I'm being too loud. Mr. Lee, I suppose. Why does that look dim? That's weird. Oh, what's this stupid color I got going on? This blue. Hold on, I'm going to change something real quick. I'm going to make it. Let's go with. Let's go red. Trying to hit it. It won't fucking hit it. Let's go this side. Is that too bright? Too bad. No, it's red. It matches. I'm good. Who do we got here? That was so pleasant.
Right.
Wow. Talk about timing. Sorry, folks. What's going on, Jay?
I wish that lady had stayed on longer.
I know, right?
Yeah, I love it when new people get on.
Me too. Me too.
Yeah.
I was looking forward to hearing more stories.
I was
about more
too. I
stories
was.
from down there.
Yeah, I love when
But
new
now we have
people.
something to look forward to in the future.
Yeah, that's true. I love when new people get on cam. So what's going
Yeah,
on?
I'm doing good. No,
going on?
not too much. Same
Me
old,
either.
same old.
I took my boot off
How you
today.
feeling, man?
It's okay.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I had to give it some relief. It's pulling on my darn Achilles so bad. I just had to give my Achilles tendon some relief, And so I took it off for the day. I'm gonna put it back on, but that's the Achilles tendon. When I played baseball, remember I told you I played
yeah.
minor league baseball for a couple of years. That's the Achilles that ruined my baseball career. The same leg, and the way that boot's got it stretched, it just hurts like a dickens. I mean, okay, that's enough. I'm tired of complaining.
I'm sorry. Did you say something I was reading, chat?
That's all right. No, I understand completely.
No kidding. Fat comic book guy, what's up? I know I just saw somebody else. Where did it go? Kelly M, how are you? Anyway. So what's how long before you're up and about? Yeah, like really about.
Well, it's been 5 weeks, so I figure it usually takes about 6 weeks. I think the ankle itself is not hurting me at all. It's that darn Achilles tendon that's what's really bothering me. The ankle itself feels fine. I'm moving. Matter of fact, I'm twisting it back and forth right now. It don't hurt at all.
Good. Helton says, "LOL, Jay. Hell, Jay. That's all I do is complain." I don't know. I do my share of complaining too.
Don't we all? I've been helping Becky paint. We're painting all this. I don't know if you remember when you walked in the house. When you walked in, all this paneling that was in this big room where my chair is. All that. We're painting all that paneling.
Yeah, so I saw you had started it. So
yeah, and we got 2/3 of it finished.
Paneling looks good painted. I mean, I've done it. I've painted it before, and sometimes you're like, oh, do I want to paint it? Don't I want to paint it? But when it's done, you're like, oh, I'm glad I painted it.
Yeah, it's going to look real good when we get it finished.
Damage from doing the split.
Maybe you want to email him about that, Jay. Jeff. Instead of putting it out here, I don't think he wants to talk about his. Fuck it. So Jay asks, is there any permanent testicular damage from doing the splits?
Believe I don't know how to answer that question. Jesus Christ.
No,
No.
works.
Not to me.
No, that's
I just
perfect word.
I just don't want to ever do it again. I'll put it that way. I'm not built right.
Now, Chessboard says Mogs, you're out of focus bad.
But he's the only one saying
Well, I was just looking at Jay and I thought he looked out of focus right now, but am I?
no, you're not.
I mean, my eyes are blurry right now, but so everything's out of focus. But
No, both of you are fine.
oh yeah, no, you see how it looks lighter here?
Yeah,
That's why before when we started, I
it might be the light.
did a test and I thought maybe my camera was dirty, so I cleaned my camera.
Might be what I need to do. I don't
No,
think-
no, Steve. I'm looking at it next to Stevie on YouTube, and it looks fine. Mr. Lee says focus good. There
Yeah,
we go.
it looked fine to me.
Miss Dill says Moog's good. Jay Foggy.
I can fix that real quick.
You might need to get.
Yeah, just use your T-shirt. I thought Jay was a little foggy too.
Yeah, no, you're right.
Me could be the lighting.
No, you're fine. You're fine.
I haven't changed
Changed.
anything.
Your camera's probably dirty. A little bit.
Just wipe down the camera. Oh, hang on.
Hold on, God damn it!
We can still hear you.
Yeah, he just muted himself. Little late. That's okay. What's up, Jeff?
Hey, Mogs. Oh, Jay's cracking me up. I am glad he's doing better, though. And I wanted to, the reason why I was popping on was to tell him and you that I've heard from like 3 different people in the last 24 hours how much they enjoyed listening to Jay Tuesday night on your show, talking about his career as an engineer and stuff, and how, you know, it's one thing to hear 10,000 people speculate on, you know, derailments and shit. And then you hear this guy come on and he said, I spent a lifetime doing this. Let me tell you what's happening here. And
he's derailed a few himself and accidents and, you know, so you're getting some amazing firsthand account.
Yeah.
Well, they put out, the National Safety Board put out what happened. It was exactly what I said. And the only thing, I read a statement from the crew, and they had a trainee engineer. We always called them Cubs. The only mistake that was made, and they said the crew didn't make any mistakes, but they said he immediately put the brake on the train when he knew it had they had a hot box, and that's a total no-no. Oh Lord, I would have reached over there and put that and immediately pull that brake handle back. That's just something if you get a hot box on a car, you do not apply the air brakes.
You just let the train.
You let it roll. You go
down?
into it's a thing called dynamic braking.
Oh.
It's kind of, to put dynamic braking into the simplest form. If you take 2 magnets and put them together, and they won't go together. They won't go together. That's kind of what dynamic braking does to the wheel of a car, the wheels of a train. You apply your dynamic brakes. You never put the air brakes on, because you put the air brakes on the car, all you're doing is heating that brake up more.
So it's slowing down the rotation without using friction, you're saying?
Absolutely. That's what you're doing. You're slowing down with rotation without using friction, and you roll it to a stop. That's the only thing that I disagree with what happened.
Well, Pat
not
had
s-
messaged me last night because he didn't watch the show live Tuesday night. And so last night I get a message on Facebook from Pat, and he's saying, man, he goes, Jay was in an epic groove on Moog Show. He says he's laying down the truth on the train stuff. And I'm like, yeah, it was pretty awesome. And then like 20 minutes later, he says, I can kiss Jay Fritz right now. And I'm like, he must still be watching it, I guess. But he just really appreciated the fact that you brought, real experience rather than speculation, and I guess that's what you're, like we had mentioned, once you get the NTSB and stuff involved, I mean, nobody's going to have a lot of definitive answers right away. There's a lot of speculation going on. And usually it's by people who probably don't have an intimate knowledge of what they're talking about, and to
Exactly.
have Jay come on and say, look, I spent decades doing this. Let me tell you what we're dealing with here. It's pretty cool.
Yeah. Well, that's
And that still trips me out that there's 8 to 12 inches of stretch per car.
oh yeah. Some
Yeah,
of
That's
them
just crazy.
Times 180 cars, it's like,
Yeah.
wow.
Yeah. Wow. I don't know why.
Yeah,
why-
I mean, if
that
you think
trips
about
me out.
that, you're talking about traveling 2/3 of a football field without that last car moving. You know what I mean? Before it starts to move.
Yeah.
Just getting them all stretched to the.
And that's the secret to handling a train is you got to know how to handle that slack in your train.
LIB, what's up, buddy? Yeah, I was really happy that Jay came on Jay, with that insight. That was really cool.
And what's cool is we
See
see
who
that
else.
a lot in chat where we'll be talking about something and then somebody will be like, oh, hey, I did that, or I worked with one of those for 10 years, whatever. And there's usually always somebody who has some definitive answers to questions or has the life experience to have that. It's just figuring out who that person is, because today on my show, when I was doing a chill stream today, I can't remember exactly what we were talking about, but Donald Fuller was like, oh, and he goes, and he knew really well about something we were talking about and started throwing down some details. And I was like, wow, I wish he was on here right now, because it's like he really had something that wasn't guessing at it,
Yeah. Go ahead, Jay.
I've always been one of those kind of guys, when you have somebody to come over, I know a lot of times people that work on stuff hate for people to watch them, but I've always been one of those kind of guys. Like the guy came by and worked on my microwave the other day, and I just stood there and talked to him. But I like watching people when they're working. I just enjoy watching people use their hands and people that know how to do stuff. It just fascinates me. I've always been the kind of guy that I just stay out of their way. I don't never try to tell them or anything what to do, or because a lot of I don't know what the hell is going on. But it just fascinates me when people know how to use their hands and their brains and stuff like that.
Well, you learn so much too. A lot of times, just from the conversation that's being had. I remember a couple of years ago, I was having a problem with my furnace. And my furnace isn't that old, but I didn't, I don't know shit about it. So I called a service in town. They sent a guy out. This guy shows up and he's talkative and he's nice. And while he was working, I was standing there talking to him. And he says, come here, look at this. He goes, 9 out of 10 times when you have a furnace doing this and this is what the problem is going to be. And he's pointing it out and showing this how you replace it. And I'm just thinking, this is good to know this,
Absolutely.
Likely, am I going to have it happen again? Probably not. But if a friend of mine says, I'm having issues with my furnace, and I say, what's going on with it? And it's the same thing. I'll say, well, 9 out of 10 times I've heard it's this, and it's coming from a reliable source, But
Yeah, knowledge is great in those situations, you know. I kind of, I don't know. I've always tried to be knowledgeable about, like, I could fix almost anything in a house. You know, I
Yeah.
could do almost anything to a house. And it's, I don't know. My dad got me on that when I was young. We'd build picnic table, or we'd build a birdhouse, or we whatever, you know.
Yeah, that's the way
But
my dad
he got
was
me into
too.
the tools and everything.
It was almost to an embarrassing point, really. I mean, my dad was the type that, you know, we'd go camping and somebody would have those ladder golf. You know, that was like, I remember when I was young, that was kind of a new game. Everybody'd go buy it and put together the little things and play ladder golf. And not my dad. He'd spend 3 hours in the garage cutting PVC and getting 90-degree elbows. And he'd probably spend as much as that cost just on all the fittings to build it himself, plus the 3 hours that he'll never get back, just because he didn't like going to the store and paying for something that he could make himself.
He could build.
He'd build a
Yeah.
lawn, you know, he'd build a lawn chair out of wood just because I'm not spending $10 for something I can build myself. Okay, well, let's take $30 worth of wood and build one, you know.
I'm kind of similar like that.
Yeah.
She's like, yeah. Well, no, like I just did a landscape project here at this house that there were railroad ties, but there were landscape ties. So there was smaller ones, like
Yeah.
4x3 or whatever, that are rounded on the edges.
Probably don't have all the creosote in them either.
No, they're pressure treated.
Yeah.
But I put in all new along the walkway. I'll take pictures, but there was like 21 of these, but the old ones I took out, there were still some good ones. But I wanted to replace them. I didn't want to mix new with old and whatever. So, but there were some gardens, like garden boxes that were made of the same material, the same 8-foot ties that I was like, fuck it. I power washed the decent ones and re-stained them and re-water sealed them and waterproofed them, put them around this box. I just took out the old ones, and this way, you know, you didn't have to, she being the homeowner, you know, we didn't have to buy 10 more or whatever we needed. And you know, with the water sealer or whatever, what the hell is it called? Waterproofing. Whatever. You know, so these are good for another couple of years, you know?
Yeah.
And it's just for aesthetics anyway. They're not really functional. Hilton, what's up, buddy? We're just talking about you.
Grass
Were
is
your ears
calling
ringing?
it the red-green syndrome, Grasshopper says. And then Brandy said she used to live right next to the railroad, the CSX line. I think that's the line that Jay drove for, right?
Yep.
I think he said CSX.
Yeah. The Chessie Seaboard Corporation.
Yeah, the line that I worked on briefly in Arizona, it was a tourist train. That was like a branch of the BNSF.
We have a lot of BNSF up here.
I always liked BNSF engines. A lot of times when you got grain trains and stuff like that, coal trains, they'll come in with the power from the other railroad, and a lot of times they just wouldn't even switch power. When we have BNSF engines, and I always loved they had the best engines.
Val says I can build a good sandwich.
That's a valuable
Takes a talent to do that.
Absolutely.
talent to have.
I can build a sandwich, it's not necessarily a good
You
one.
find a woman who can build a good sandwich who owns a nice fishing boat, you're about 90% of the way there.
What's the other 10%? She has to own a liquor store.
Well, it could be a number of things. That would be definitely
For me, it would be a
one.
dispensary, but you know.
That would definitely cover it and then some, probably.
Hey, Jeff, I saw part of your show this afternoon. That was a new guy. I think I've seen him on his name in
said-
chat before, but that's
He
the first
said he's
time
been in chat here. It was Dave.
Dave Dora?
yeah.
Yeah, he's from Jersey.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
he lived in Western New York, and now he lives up north of Buffalo. It sounded like he said.
I know he
But
said he had an experience up there or something, right?
Yeah, he talked about it a little bit, and but yeah, he clicked on the link and popped on and was chatting. He's a nice guy. I was like, damn, I wouldn't mind getting him on my Monday night show if he wants to share his experience.
He kind of had one similar to mine. Sounds like except he was on a motorcycle.
Kind of.
So,
I mean,
Naoma says if she can build a nice sandwich and owns her own fishing boat, what the hell does she need you for?
well, somebody's got to eat all those sandwiches. Damn it.
Helton says, when I was 13, my dad decided we need a pond in the woods. He handed me a shovel, took me to the little creek and said, dig a pond and dam the creek and make a spillway. So did you get this? Did it come out? Like, I want to know. Like, I want to see pictures, damn it. No, when I was a kid, I was always like wanting to build ponds and shit. I was always fascinated with water.
Yeah. We have a
Just didn't
little
have any
private. We live on a little private lake here at our house in South Dakota, and it's about a 15-acre, 18-acre lake. But one of the things I did is there was kind of like we have a sloped yard that goes all the way down to it, and there's a spot where the water always runs from water flow that goes down there. It looks kind of like a dry creek bed about 360 days a year. And then about 5 days a year, there's enough rain that the water's flowing down it. But I built a little waterfall type feature up at the top of it on the top of our property line and buried PV flex pipe down there and put a little pump down there. So that would just pump water up the flex pipe and it would flow down like there's a flowing creek going through the yard. But it's just really all it's doing is aerating the water in the lake,
Sure.
But and the cost to run that little pump is pretty cheap. So it's kind of neat to build a little running creek through your yard without having to supply the water for it. But
Grasshopper says this is the most Kiwis in the room yet. There's a lot of New Zealanders here. I think it's great.
Hey, Russ, you remember that puppy that was here when y'all came down?
Oh yeah, Blue.
He's about twice as big as he was. You can't believe.
Dude, it's been a weekend. It's been like a week. Shut the fuck up.
I guarantee I think he's grown twice as big in a week.
They've got this gorgeous it's a mastiff puppy, and he's got these blue eyes that are just incredible, and it's at that clumsy stage, the goofy, but I know how big that dog is going to get, which is crazy. Yeah, I don't think it grew that much though. Twice its size. Yeah, it's gonna be a cool dog. You there, Jay?
Yep, I'm eating right now.
Oh, okay. Go back to doing what you're doing. Feed the dog, whatever.
must have got some Sonic mini corn dogs or something.
It is right across the street from them, though.
Is it?
Yeah, I noticed when we were coming out. It's just up around the corner in front of the hospital.
Yeah, I didn't notice.
Yeah, I noticed. I kind of laughed when I saw
It's
it.
too convenient for Jay now.
Right.
Sonic across the street. So shit, I never showed you. I gotta wait a minute. I gotta find something real quick. Oh shit, my battery's gonna die in this phone.
Where's your charger?
I don't know. It's inside. Where is it? I do have a phone, a picture I wanted to share. If I can find it. I just don't know which way it is. Oh, oh. There it is. There's no bandana. But Jay, recognize the chair?
Yes, I do.
Why'd you do that? That's me.
Yes, Mr. Lee, I sat in the chair.
Got one of those.
I had to, like, nobody was looking. I was like, oh shit, I gotta sit in this thing and take a picture. Why is it so quiet in here?
Yeah.
It's like, did my speakers go out?
I was just looking at some footprint pictures in the snow that somebody had posted that look really weird looking, but I kind of think they could be turkey tracks, but it's interesting anyways.
Lights are going on around me. Oh, you're killing me, Smalls.
Jeez.
I'm assuming it's ice cream. That's all right. I got ice cream waiting. What flavor did you get this time?
The cookie, with all the good stuff in it.
I guess we got cookies and cream tonight.
No. It's the other one. The one with all the little Reese's Coke stuff in it.
Oh, it was like the Moose Tracks. Yeah,
Something like that.
right on. Trackway, where are you? Oh, Trackway, sorry to hear that, man. He had to say goodbye to his dog today.
Oh no.
That's a shame.
We talked about dogs and pets today and how important a dog can be.
I like my dogs more than I like people. Can't help it. My dogs are like kids. Although Lucy's been a traitor lately. I don't know where the fuck she is. No, like Maya's my shadow. My German Shepherd. I get up, she's there. Lucy, I haven't seen her in days. You know, she's like in the homeowner's bedroom. She like switched sides.
Neoma says, I like most things more than I like people.
It's a shame, you know. But yeah, I don't know. My shepherd is she's uncomfortable with something. I don't know if it's her hips or all of a sudden like she goes to get up and she's whining. And I'm just hoping it's not her hips. You know, maybe she just, I don't know, stepped on something. I don't
Does she
know.
walk kind of stiff-legged in the hind end, or
when she gets up, I haven't paid that much attention because it's that new. Like it happened last night and today. So
once she gets up and starts walking around, does it seem to not be a big deal then, or?
Yeah, no, it seems she seems fine.
Well, that's
like,
probably more muscular than in the joints, you know.
Yeah.
When it's in the joints, it doesn't seem to matter. I mean, even when they're walking around for a half hour, they still seem like they're favoring or they're stiff-legged. But if she kind of limbers up and starts acting normal after a bit, maybe it's just more of a muscular thing. But and just so YouTube knows, we're talking about pets, not people, so you can't gig Mogs for health advice here.
No, I don't give health advice. I can share something that worked for me, but I ain't encouraging it, you know.
Yeah.
Bandit Eastwick, what's up? Get her extended for dogs. Starts to clear up in no time. Let me see this again. Extend is the name of the product, I'm assuming. Right on. Yeah, no, I have to go and I'll go to Tractor Supply. They always have a lot of different over the counter stuff for pets, be it dogs or to horses, So maybe tomorrow I'll take a ride
Jamie.
over and
Dogs are handy when you have to fart among people.
yeah, sure. Just blame the
Go-
dog.
Yeah,
Go to
that's what
Rural
Jay
King.
does.
Go to Rural King, Russ. It'd be a lot cheaper, and they got all kind of dog stuff there.
Yeah, I don't. Is there a rural? Rural King around. I don't think there's one around here.
No. Closest one is probably over there by Jay.
Well, the first time I ever saw one was down by Ritchie
Yeah.
in Crystal River.
Yeah.
I was like, Rural King, what's that?
I still haven't been on one.
Do they have a fishing section, Jay?
Absolutely, big one.
I kind of had a feeling because there's a you might have them in Minnesota or wherever you're at. Fleet
Yeah, Fleet and Farms we have.
Fleet Farm, whatever that is.
Fleet and
It's-
Farm, you got a huge fishing section. They sell live bait and they have pretty much everything, a hardware store, grills, fertilizer, grass and garden stuff. It's everything.
Yeah, there was.
It's a dream store, really.
It doesn't sound like the right name, though. It's something Fleet.
What I like about Rural King is they have baby chickens and baby pigs there. It's cute as hell. I mean, baby rabbits.
I can get
We
I
have-
can get the chickens at Tractor Supply, but they don't have pigs.
Fleet and Farm is what started out.
Mills Fleet Farm. Mills
Yeah,
Fleet Farm.
yeah,
that's what it
Mills
is.
Fleet. Well, they just call it Fleet and Farm now. It was
Okay.
Mills Fleet and Farm when it was kind of started in Wisconsin,
Yeah,
but then kind of took off all across the.
they had an
Midwest.
amazing fishing department. Holy shit! You could buy rubber worms in these big fucking
Oh,
tubs
yeah.
that were like 5 gallons
What I
of
like
rubber
is they
worms.
it's not just. It's like they built the store for you, right? They had all the fishing stuff and hunting stuff, gun department. You could get a Traeger grill. They had clothing, but you'd be at the checkout line. They'd have like a 15-pound tub of cheese curls. It's like shit.
Yeah, and you could get a universal.
They saw
for your
me
tractor
coming.
if you needed it.
I needed a marine battery for my bass boat. And it
I
was.
forgot that battery, Jay.
Oh, you did forget that battery. I know it. I saw it out there. I said, God blame, we forgot to give it
Didn't
to
mean
you.
to interrupt, but go ahead.
But I was going to buy a marine battery, and I was looking at them at Walmart, and this was several years back, they were $99 or $109. I went to Rural King and got the same exact battery for $49.95.
Wow.
Hmm.
Yeah, like I said, they don't have one around here, and I've only seen one once or twice now that I saw the one down by you. But have yet to go in it. I'll get lost in stores like that. I'm just like, I spend the first 15 minutes of walking in the door at Tractor Supply, like 10 feet in front of the door where they put those displays out of all the, just if you've been at Tractor Supply, you know what I'm talking about. There's these little bins of just like from tools to dog supplies or whatever. It's all in this, like it's a first impulse buying thing you reach. It's funny.
Well, you saw that glass table out there by the pool we had where we sat at. We got it at Rural King for $39, and it was $99 or $89 at Walmart, same table.
Wow. I'll have to check it out.
There's a lot of
Beautiful.
stores that are kind of that model now. I mean, that when it feels like you walked into a Bass Pro Shops meets Home Depot, you kind of little bit of everything. I mean, we got Fleet and Farm, but then also across the Midwest, they've got Sportsman's Warehouse is another one that they have, and
That's a good store.
seems like a lot of places have something like that. It's not just hunting and fishing, and it's not just home improvement. It's like a crossbreed of.
Well, I mean, it makes sense to have that many different, departments cater to the fishing, cater to everything.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think the basic concept of it is that a guy can spend more time looking at guns and fishing rods if his wife's got some clothes to look at, and it's something for everybody, right? I mean, it never works the opposite way. I mean, if your girl wants to go clothes shopping, how many women's clothing stores do you walk into that has a rack of fishing rods for us to doodle with for an hour, right? I mean,
it's better than sitting in the chair next to the dressing room.
Yeah,
whatever.
You're sitting in that chair next to the dressing room. Every time a woman walks out, you feel like some pervert. Like I'm just hanging out here alone watching women. No, I'm waiting for my wife in there. She's in there somewhere. I promise.
Staring straight down, twiddling your thumbs, minding, like I'm not looking up.
Oh,
Icon, how's it going? Hey, Sharon Guy, welcome. Tackle Warehouse. Yeah, they have a sport. I think it's Sportsman's Warehouse up in Flagstaff. Go to.
Jeff is in the chairs holding the purse.
My problem is when it comes to fishing gear, I have expensive taste. I don't buy expensive, but it's like I want to, but I don't.
Well, it's funny because a place like that is always designed. If you were to really study merchandising and how they lay stores out, there's that spontaneous buy, right? Like, and you see it when you get close to checkouts. There's all these little items that you're like, ooh, it's hard to say no to that, right? These impulse
it's impulse buying, yeah.
But you go into a fishing place, that shit is all over every end cap of every aisle. You're walking along looking at rods, and you go around the corner and like, ooh, look at that, something completely different. But
yeah, there's this bait and tackle store that I go to here, and it's a small place, but it's a big place. It's an independent little store, but they have a lot of shit. I mean, aisles of just rubber worms and all different, tubes and skirts and whatever. I mean, I try to not walking up and down the aisles. I know I'm going in there for shiners and that's all I need, but I end up wandering around and
yeah.
So
well, what's funny is they all throughout a fishing or hunting store, they have those shopping carry baskets like stacked up all over. Because that's always what happens. You'll go and say, I'm just going to get some 8-pound mono fluorocarbon line. That's it. And then you're walking around with like 8 things in your arms. You're like, oh, shit, give me one of those baskets.
By the time you get to checkout, the basket's overflowing.
Yeah, you got like 2 baskets in your hand.
And you're like, shit, I should have got a cart. And then you get to the car and unload it, and you get home and you realize, fuck, I never got the fishing line I went in for.
Yeah, Mr. Lee says I can't shop with my girlfriend. Everybody's commenting on that. They really should. I mean, if I owned a women's boutique store, I'd put like a big buck hunter video game in there or something, so that women can go in there and give her husband $5 and say, go entertain yourself for 30 minutes. And
little arcade in the back.
Asteroids. Oh god.
That was a great game. Simple as it was a great game. Push the joystick all the way forward so it just keeps going forward faster, and you just hit that. See how long it took you to get killed. Miss Dill says, went to Bass Pro Shop 6 years ago. A pair of socks was $20. We left with nothing.
we'd go to Cabela's a lot, and Cabela's had in every store they had a bargain cave where people would order something and they'd say, "Oh, this isn't what I want." They'd ship it back or discontinued items. You go on the bargain cave and fill a cart for like a quarter on the dollar, basically. But
Aren't they? They're together now. One
Yep.
of the two
Yep.
bought the other one out, didn't they?
Yep. There's
So we're
kind of a
together?
weird relationship. It's funny how that happened because at the heart of it was Ranger Boats. Ranger Boats, these two Cabela's had marine dealerships that sold pontoons and boats, had all their deals, and they were kind of a Ranger dealer. And then Bass Pro Shops had their own brand. They had Tracker. But Bass Pro Shops wanted to get into selling Ranger boats, and pretty soon it was like that deal was kind of put together with Ranger boats at the center of it. It was like, well, we're going to get to sell those too. And we're going to, it was like one big item, which is kind of weird, but you're talking about an item that costs $100,000, a Ranger 621 boat with a 400 horse Mercury Verado on it, fully rigged, is probably 120 grand,
Yeah, that's crazy.
but
Yeah, but the Bass Pro Shop boats were great boats. They
Tracker
they
boats are
morphed into
great.
Trackers morphed into this, competition bass boat. I mean, they've been like that for years.
yeah, and their line of walleye boats too. I mean, they had some deep V fiberglass tournament boats that were as good, or at least competitive with Ranger and Skeeter and all these
And
other
I
brands.
also believe that Bass Pro, they also didn't they deal with Fisher boats?
Yeah. Fisher was
Were made by the same company, weren't they?
Well, Fisher was a boat that the hull of Fisher boats, it's kind of a weird deal because my dad guided and fished walleye tournaments with some big names out of the upper Midwest, Mike McClellan and all these guys that were really big in walleye fishing. And Mike McClellan and my dad designed a boat hull design that kind of was modeled after Champion boats. For a while, the Champion boats, their hull handled the best rough water on like the Great Lakes. I mean, just the way it would hit a wave and displace the water out rather than having it come over the top and the windshield. And the Fisher FX DV's walleye boats had this one kind of patented design, and then all of a sudden that expired and that patent expired and everybody could start using it, and that Fisher just kind of went downhill from there. But I don't know, there used to be a lot more boat manufacturers in the fiberglass boats, but the aluminum boats, you've always had Crestliner and Lund and everybody that was, and they'll always be there. Now Lund's kind of taken over, moving into the glass boats, and that's getting huge now for them. But this is gonna get this boat talk and get boring for you. Chat. They'll get pissed about it. I have a Warrior boat, and I like Warrior boats for walleye fishing, but I don't know if they're really that big in bass fishing. I don't think they make much bass. Basically a shallower version, doesn't have as deep of a displacement, kind of the same thing as between walleye boats and bass boats. Is just the displacement on it.
But still, get the net, it's a big one.
It's a biggie.
Oh, you know how much she loves the fishing talk.
I was looking on Facebook today. I'm a member of some crappie fishing group, and they were posting the results of these crappie tournaments taking place around the country now. And they're 2-man teams in these tournaments. The winning team of the tournament yesterday, after fishing an 8-hour tournament, weighed in 133 crappies that weighed 202 pounds. So it was a 1.5 pound average. 133 crappies caught by two guys in a single tournament. I thought that
do
was
they just-
crazy.
why? Yeah, but why do they allow you to catch so many fish?
I don't know. But second place was like 85, and then third through eighth place was like in the 70s. And I don't
But you
know
know what I
the-
mean?
I
I mean, there's a
understand
limit.
that some of these states look at crappies as kind of rough fish because when they reproduce, they have huge spawn rates. And if you don't have a lot of predator fish like northern pike, muskie, bass in that lake, those crappies get out of control. So you have to catch a lot of them to keep the population healthy. But like where I live, I mean, your limit on crappies is 15.
Yeah, here it's 25.
You know, I mean, I don't know how the hell two guys can catch 133 and be within regs.
Maybe it was maybe it was a 2-day tournament.
Well, no, that was the day one of the tournament. Was yesterday. But
At one
mean,
time,
hell.
at one time in Kentucky, it was 60. You could have 60 per, but they lowered it down to 30, I think. But
yeah, that's the way yellow perch in Minnesota was like 50, and then now it's 25. And next door over in South Dakota, it's like 10. I mean, you know, it just depends.
Well, in Arizona, like this for say trout, the state bag limit was, say for rainbow trout, it was like 6,
Yeah.
but the state parks was 4.
Yeah.
So depending on where you fished, you know, you had to abide by their.
And some of these lakes have slot limits, which, you know, gets confusing. I mean, they're posted at most of the boat ramps, but like, you know, you have to let fish go. But like walleyes, your perfect eater walleye size would be 14 to 18 inches. And then a trophy would be, 28-inch fish is typically around 8.5 pounds. So they'd have slots where like fish between 18 and 24 inches have to be let go. Or you can only keep one fish over 20 inches. So you could keep smaller ones, but only one of your 4, 5, 6 fish limit could be 22 inches, or something like that.
There's a lot of slot rules down here with saltwater, and different species down here. I don't think I really ever fished too much where in slot conditions where you could only keep a fish that was between 18 and something, or it had to be bigger than 10 and yet smaller than 19, or
Well, like in South Dakota, all the lakes here that people fish for walleyes, there's quite a few of them. They're all the same. Your daily limit is 4. Your possession limit is 8. So you want to go camp for the weekend and fish 2 days, you could bring home 8 fish. But out of those 4 fish, only one can be over 20 inches each day. So you come to the boat ramp with 4 fish and 3 of them are 22 inches long, you're getting busted. Everybody just knows it. It's the same on every lake. What blows me away is these lakes or these states where this lake's regs are different than this lake and this lake. And so you got to take a whole class to educate yourself on what you can keep and what you can't keep before you even start fishing, Yeah,
you need a compendium on just the local lakes.
And actually, that was not ice cream. That was vanilla pudding with whipped cream and walnuts on top of it.
Looked like ice cream. Well, we were talking about Sonic, so I just assumed.
I didn't want to be eating on cam.
Oh, Mr. Lee would have loved that. I don't know. He's got this thing about watching people eat, I guess. I feel weird about eating. I think I've eaten maybe 3 times in 2.5 years. I've eaten a cookie or a cupcake or something.
Hey, Hoffcast is in the chat. Mr.
What's
Lee,
up,
no,
Hoff?
I've never caught a sardine. I don't even like eating sardines.
Oh,
I know
me
some
neither.
people are huge sardine fans. I can't eat a sardine. Just no way.
I can eat sardines. I don't like anchovies.
I don't either.
I don't know if it's so much the taste as the texture, those fine little razory bones that just kind of supposedly crush in your. So it seems to me like the kind of person that would eat a sardine is the same kind of person that would put a handful of sunflower seeds in their mouth and just start chewing on them rather than cracking them open, But
Let me think about that. I'll eat a sardine, but I won't eat sunflower seeds. No, I like the sardines packed in tomato sauce, put it on a cracker, and it's good to go.
yeah, there's so many different flavors. I mean, the
the
sardine
only
little
fish I'll
things,
eat
they've
with
kind of
bones in
taken
it.
off on the whole buffalo sardines and all these different flavors.
Oh yeah, I've got like a few things of just those tuna fish packages, the foil packages that are like different flavors. I'm like, I picked them up for camping and I never used them. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, I was like, I don't know. Do you add mayo? I don't know. I don't.
Just eat 'em on crackers.
I'm gonna tell you a railroad story that happened to me one time. If you're interested,
Woohoo! Or
we
woo-hoo.
were climbing a small. It wasn't really a mountain, but it was uphill for about 4 miles. And I had an engine go down on me, so I told there was no crossings or anything for that whole 4 miles. And I told my conductor, I said, get over here and push this alerter button while I go back there and get that engine started, because I knew if I didn't get back there pretty quick that I'd stall on that hill. So I went back there to start that engine, and while I was back there, that whole engine went side to side almost 5 or 6 feet. I mean, we went over. It was during the summertime, hot as heck, well up in the 90s, and the rail will actually go out of line. We had a heat order on. In heat orders, you have to reduce your train sometimes down as much as half, and it depends on the weight of the train. And we had a 40-mile-an-hour heat order on that train. It was a 60-mile-an-hour train, and we had to reduce it to 40 because of the heat. And when I went over when that engine did that, I said, "Oh my God, that we're going to derail," because I knew we was on a rail that bucked underneath the train. So I get on the radio on that second engine I was on, and I hollered at that conductor. I said, God, what was his name? Oh shit, I can't remember the boy's name. I'll just call him Carl. I said, Carl, start coming off your throttle. Come off the throttle 1 notch at a time, real slow. And when you get down to about 7 or 8 miles an hour, start adding the brake. Put the brake on. And when we got stopped, I went back over. He said, "Yeah, it was a buck track." So he went back there and checked it. It was 8 feet out of line.
Holy shit!
8 feet out of line. It's a miracle we didn't derail on that track.
Was it both sides, both tracks, or just
both
one?
tracks that moved over? Yeah,
Okay.
no, both sides had moved. We stayed on rail, but both sides had bucked over for about 30 feet long. Had
Wow.
bucked over 8 feet.
And that just pushes all the ties over, and
Yeah,
I mean,
the whole thing.
how does that? And that's 8 feet's a lot. I mean,
8
shit.
feet out of line. So we separated our train, pulled it on over. We separated it on straight tack behind the buck, and pulled that on over. It was 5 cars still on the buck track, and we pulled that over, and they got the welders out there and welded it back straight for me.
On your typical train card, Jay, what's the span or the length from axle to axle?
Oh, there are a lot of different lengths. Some of them are. This was you seen these truck trailer trains?
Yeah.
That's got truck trailers on them. They run up to 65 to 80 feet long.
Oh, geez.
A normal, like a boxcar, is 55 feet long.
Yeah.
They're all different lengths.
When you
know.
were saying the span of that being out of Gap was 30 feet, it makes you realize that there's probably a very fine line of distance that a train could make it over that before it couldn't. And it might be, 35 foot long. I mean, it had been 5 feet longer. There's no way it would have caught back into alignment once it got back.
No, plus I had a light train. It was a trailer train. We called them trailer trains. And luckily it wasn't a heavy train. It wasn't about like 4,500 tons. It was a lighter train, If it'd been a big old heavy coal train or something, we'd been on the ground in a heartbeat.
Icon, you are correct. 4 foot 8.5 inches. The distance between rails.
Yep.
On a standard. And what is it on a narrow gauge?
I have no clue. Believe it or not, I never handled narrow
I know
gauge.
it's like 3. I know it's tiny.
No clue.
Gate Smasher, how's it going? Gate Smasher, you should come on. I want to hear some of your stories. I'm sure you have some.
I tell you somebody I'd like to come on sometime is Faster Man. I wish he would come on and tell some of his stories.
We're going to get him on me and Pat are going to have a music show and get him on to share a bunch of pictures that he's taken and tell stories about those bands and, the stories that probably for decades he couldn't tell, but maybe now they've reached a point to where he can. A lot of those bands aren't under label signed anymore, or he doesn't have any NDA with them. But I would imagine there's a lot of stuff he wasn't allowed to talk about that he saw happen at hotels and around swimming pools and shit like that.
Crazy rockers. Yeah, that would definitely be a cool show.
I think once the movie The Dirt came out about Motley Crue, it kind of opened up the floodgates where, okay, I guess we can talk about anything now. That movie's pretty crazy. It shows Ozzy Osbourne snorting the ants or whatever around the pool.
36, 30, and 2 feet are some of the most common gauges. Right on. Yeah, snorting ants. That's just crazy. I hope they were fire ants. It's my nemesis in Florida, fire ants. I would be fine if I just put shoes on, but no. Huh? God forbid. Naomi says yes. Yeah, the ants. That was the crazy part. Hilda says, as a country girl, I was always told never play on train tracks, never play with farm equipment, and wild animals are wild.
Yep.
It's good advice.
Mm-hmm.
Wild animals are so cute.
My
I'm gonna go take a picture with the buffalo. Yeah.
When I was a kid, I'm talking about 8 or 9 years old. My first cousins, they lived right next to the train tracks too, and had a trestle, big long wood trestle. We used to. It was on that same hillside I was just talking about, and we used to sit on that trestle and throw rocks at trains, because sometimes they would come by, especially coal trains. They'd be real slow, and they'd come by, and we'd just rock their dickens out of them. Them poor engines and cabooses and stuff like that. And I remember rocking this one guy. He yelled at me because it was going real slow, and I threw the rock, and it went right through that window. And how it missed him, I have no idea. Well, 20 years later, Well,
I
not,
was
not
gonna say,
quite.
this is a story that goes full circle to
There's-
where
there's-
you're driving.
There's
the boat,
karma. There's karma involved in
flipping
this
those
one.
little
This-
kids off. You sons of bitches, quit throwing
Yeah,
rocks at me.
This goes full
Your
circle.
aim sucks.
Not quite 20 years later. Here I am in my first cubbing trainee. First day out. I mean, first time I ever sat in an engineer seat. And who do I have as my engineer
No.
training me? It was that guy. I almost beamed with that rock that day.
So him telling some stories, you figured out that it was him.
Oh no,
Did-
I knew it was him because he didn't look. He looked the
Did
same.
you let him know that you were the one that was the kid throwing the rocks, or?
Later on in the trip, I brought it up. I said, "You," of course, he couldn't remember. It's so many kids and stuff on tracks and stuff. But I said, "You remember that day down there on that trestle? You was going real slow, coming up Crofton Hill, and that kid." I said, "That almost beamed you." I said, "I was that kid that threw that rock that day." He said, "You son of a bitch! You almost took my head off that day."
I remember you. Get off my train. Yeah, that's funny. I mean, the chances of it being the same. friggin'
Yeah,
person.
the same one. First trip I made.
I think it's just funny that you became an engineer to a point to where you were the one yelling out the window, right out, "You little bastards! I'm where you live."
If you believe in fate.
Just reading. Leslie, what's up? Good to see you.
There's Miss Leslie. I
Crypto's
love that.
Canada.
I love that woman.
Yeah, she's cool. So is Naoma.
Mm-hmm.
No, she
They
was
all
in
are.
somewhere.
That was a very enjoyable program you had that night.
Yeah, it was. I had a good time. You know, Naoma had mentioned that we were talking about some of the old. She was talking about some of the older researchers, and you know, she referred to them as assholes. As some of them assholes, talking about their personalities, like you have them today. But people are complaining about that. You know, like why did she call them assholes? It's like, well, maybe she knew that they were. You know, she wasn't doing it to be mean. She was just saying, hey, you know, different personalities. You know. So I don't think everybody should get all upset about that. She wasn't, you know,
Oh,
trying to be
Well, a
mean.
lot of
and-
it's just a matter of a matter of opinion. I mean,
yeah, absolutely. But she might have had a reason.
You'll have
you know?
5 people who think somebody's an asshole, and 5 people who think they aren't an asshole. It's just what people find different things valuable about people's
Exactly.
personalities, and it's not always the same.
it seems like
Right,
there's a lot of ego in that research field. A
Oh,
lot of
yeah.
ego, you
Oh
know.
yeah, a lot of A personalities that just they're gonna clash.
I saw a pretty in-depth interview with one of the biggest names in our community, and I'll be honest with you, he came off to me as being very high in the horse, very what would be the right word? Where
Know it all.
kind of his way is the highway, and just really felt like he kind of talked down to you almost as he's sharing his opinion, his ideas and opinions.
They're
and-
condescending.
yeah, very condescending. Very condescending. That's a great descriptive for that. And yet I talked to somebody else who knows this person really well, and they're like, man, I've heard that a lot. But yet when you sit down and have a coffee with this guy, when the lights aren't in his eyes, stuff, he's just the nicest. And I just thought, it's good to hear that he is grounded and personable and approachable. It's just I don't think he means to be condescending. I think the fact that he gives a canned interview over and over and over several nights a week, that you just he doesn't even realize he's doing it, probably.
Yeah.
For your average Joe who's watching him, they're like, man, this guy's kind of an asshole,
Naoma says at Stevie B, someone once called me a bitch. I clarified that I am not a bitch. I am goddess bitch. Gonna get it right. Get it right. What was the question? What it just ask Jay or Mogs, I'll tell you. About what?
I did the arrow pointing to my name and I said I can be an asshole. Just saying.
Oh yeah, we all can. I can.
And Patrick and somebody else said no, they couldn't see that. I'm like, yeah, just ask Jay. I'll tell you.
No, there's shit. I was an asshole yesterday.
Yeah.
Or whenever it was.
Yeah, yesterday.
For no reason. It just like out of the blue, I got pissed off at something and it's just dick after that.
It just
I
comes
realized it,
down to
got
the
over it.
whole,
We
you know,
double cat.
not all assholes are the same. I mean, it seems to me amongst like with guys, and I shouldn't say this stereotypically like all guys are this way because I know quite a few who aren't, but most of us guys who are friends, you could catch me or I could catch you on an asshole day.
Oh yeah.
And you know, give it 5-6 hours and we'll be having a beer laughing again, you know.
But
Yeah,
there's
most
some people that make it a career.
Yeah, most time assholes are assholes. Real assholes are assholes all the
All
time.
the time.
Oh no, I don't doubt that with a lot of people, Jay. I'm just saying, with guys, you know, your group of friends, you'll have downright drag out fights amongst each other at some point, and by the next day, you're back to watching games and drinking beer. I don't know if you can say that quite so easily with women. I mean, typically a woman gets under another woman's skin to that degree, and there's going to be some hell to pay for a little while, you know. But
oh no, there was Leslie says, but to be honest, there are a lot of good researchers too. John Bindernagel, Jeff Meldrum, just to name two. Yeah, I don't think she wasn't calling and saying that people like they didn't get along with each other. I think she even mentioned that. You know, I don't think she's calling out any one.
I think John Green wrote about that. About how he had all these different friends who were researchers, and he even threw out some examples of how some of them just are like oil and water with each other.
Yeah.
There was a couple of them out there who went decades without, you know, they would work with anybody, but I won't work with that guy, you know, and it's like, really, you know.
Well, because of a different opinion or a different belief.
I'm gonna step
Leslie?
out, brother. I'm gonna step out, brother.
Leslie says John Green wasn't a nice guy.
I'm gonna step out, brother. I haven't been sleeping good, so I'm gonna try to go to bed early tonight.
Go get some sleep, man.
All right, we'll see you later.
We'll see.
Talk to you
Jay.
soon, Jay. Thanks for coming on, man. It was good talking to you. Thanks for sharing your train, knowledge. Thank
We'll
you.
see. We'll see.
Yeah, I don't want to sit here and bash researchers, but hey, like I said, it is.
I think you could pick any profession and find
absolutely.
examples that are the same. I mean, there's probably heart surgeons say that about each other. Man, some of you guys are real assholes.
Gate Smasher, that's true. He's like, I become a big asshole when I hear people say that I can't when they never tried. That's true. I never heard you say it. That's fucked up because you tell Stevie she can't. Oh, bullshit. And she goes complete opposite. Tell me I can't. Tell me again how much I can't do this. She gets mad. And she proves him wrong. That's just sometimes I have to motivate her that way. You can't do that. What'd you say? No, that was good. You get a lot of egos clashing in this field. You do, and it was then and it's now. It's not going to go away. People are never going to see eye to eye.
And it's
I
like
saw
this
some
in
very dark
every
pictures of
field.
John Green.
It's like this in every field. I mean, you talk to Anthony S4 and these guys who are into
Ufologist.
ufology.
Yeah.
I mean, they'll tell you there's this guy hates that guy and this and that. And it's like, but yet they hold the same viewpoints. It's like, well, why do they hate each other? Well, they're two type A's who just can't mesh, for whatever reason. But
I'm old school. Be kind and do your best. Indeed.
be a good
Where are we at?
human.
It's not that hard.
I really like this line of merch from there's one guy who's got a pretty big channel who reviews music videos, and he's a black dude who's in his 40s, and he'll watch old like Fleetwood Mac videos, or songs that he hadn't heard before.
Yeah.
And he'll play them in a small window, and he reacts live, and he'll pause it and he'll say, man, the way they harmonize, and it's just really cool because he has really good input on analyzing
I think I
these
just
songs.
saw this guy.
His name is Jamel, aka Jamal. Jamel, aka Jamal. But he has got a line of merch that says, just be a good human. And, just the basic messages, but it's like, dude, it's like these basic messages are so needed to be seen today,
Absolutely.
But
Absolutely.
yeah, Leslie's familiar with it.
I love that show, Jeff. Right on. Yeah, I've been watching a lot of reaction videos. But there's a few guys. Go ahead.
He watches a lot of the Bill Burr comedy, just like 3 minutes or 5 minutes of Bill Burr doing comedy. And he's got his two brothers, so you got these, he'll get them in sometimes. So these three black guys are watching this white guy talking about when he was dating some chick and she lived in Brooklyn and he had to go into the slum the first time to meet her, and he's giving his white guy perspective of what it was like, and these guys are just laughing their asses off at it. I mean, but
yeah, there's some interesting content out there. Yeah, Naoma also.
yeah.
I've probably seen him.
Yeah, they'll review music videos, and I mean, if you go to his past, like go to his playlist, he has about every band listed. Like Steve Miller Band, 11 songs, Led Zeppelin, 13 songs. I mean, these are over 4 years of songs that he has done a reaction video to, and it's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's cool to see them do the old songs, like Zeppelin or Fleetwood Mac or any of those old things that like, who the hell is this? And they get introduced to that type of music at such a late, it's fucking.
Well, he'll and he'll truly not know the artist. I mean, it's funny because we'll look at it and say, dude, how do you not know who Bob Seger is? Right. But he'll start playing a video and, he like the songs and he's like, ooh, he makes these facial expressions when like the guitar kicks in and stuff. And then when they start singing, he's like, holy smokes, this person's voice, I mean, it's so fun to watch how animated he is and how he reacts to how good some of these artists were.
And that's the kick I get out of watching people like Marcus, what the hell is his last name? Shit, I can't think. Well, he's a musician and he plays on like Omegle. They'll do TikTok videos on Omegle and get those reactions. Like Billy Wilkins does it. I mentioned it the other night, but the people are so amazed when this guy just starts singing, and the guy can sing. And they see, oh, he's playing guitar, that's cool. And then once he starts to sing, they're like, holy shit!
There's a guy who has a similar channel who is a freestyle rapper, and it's a white dude, and he is unbelievable. I mean, he goes on Omegle until he finds like 3 college girls hanging out in the room, and he's like, they're like, "Hey, who are you?" And he's like, they see his 4K camera, you know, and all the studio stuff. It looks like this fake background I got here in his studio. And they'll say, do you have a channel? And he's like, "Yeah, you know, I'm a freestyle rapper. Can I freestyle rap for you?" And they're like, "Yeah." And he'll say, "Okay, well, give me 3 off the wall words that we can work with here." And one of them will say potato masher, you know, and one of them will say, you know, just crazy shit, right? And then he'll ask them what their names are, you know, and do you have a boyfriend? Are you single? And he gets just a quick interview of these 4 girls. And then he'll say, okay, and he'll hit a button, and he'll start playing this beat and stuff. And he'll start freestyle rapping. And I mean, this dude will blow you away. I'm not really into rap, but you listen to this guy, it's like, holy smokes. I mean, and he hits all 3 of the words they had. He's working all their names into it. And everybody who hears it, I mean, they've had him, he's gone viral so big now that like Snoop Dogg and all these guys are doing reactions to him going, this guy's like the king of freestyle rap. But he just started out as a nobody, you know, nobody knew who he was. I mean, I think his name's Harry Mack. But
and that's the other thing I've been watching too is little clips like these little short, you know, shorts, and anything like Joe Rogan interviewing Snoop Dogg. They'll do, you know, everything that comes up with Snoop Dogg recently. I click on Eminem. I was never really into rap. I mean, I grew up during the whole, you know, rap era, but never got into it. And now it's like, I'm like, oh, that's pretty cool, you know.
well, the stuff that I got into was back when it was, you know, NWA, Eazy-E.
Yeah, but I went before that with like Sugar Hill Gang.
Yeah.
You know,
Luke Skywalker and the 2 Live Crew, you know, all the old school stuff that really was shock value for the time. I mean, the F-bombs and the sex and all the stuff that they said. I mean, it was like, oh my gosh, you know, it was the shock value that really built those guys up at that time. Like, can you believe they're saying this, right? But that was prior to Snoop Dogg and Jay-Z, you know, Jay-Z 99 Problems and, you know, all that stuff came along after that. The original NWA and Luke Skywalker and stuff like that was really just sprung up out of the shock value that somebody would come on and do this and put it on a tape or a CD and people would buy it, you know. But
that's from Rapper's Delight, if I'm not mistaken.
I mean, I ain't gonna lie, I had bought a few CDs, you know, back then of some of that stuff. It was interesting, you know, but
just never got into it. I mean,
I was into the Beastie Boys. I know that the Beastie Boys rocked, man. Sabotage and some of that stuff they did to this day. You start playing Sabotage, I'll have to turn up the stereo if that's on. I mean,
run
Jeff
run Jeff MD.
That's one thing that I thought was kind of goofy, though, is when they would do those, you know, the collaboration stuff, or Run DMC with Aerosmith, you know, and I never really got into that stuff. I know that was big because it went top 4. That stuff.
Well, Walk This Way, they did a great job with that.
Absolutely.
Tone Loc, Wild Thing.
And I think Run DMC and Aerosmith kind of started something there, because after that, you saw Michael Jackson doing a video with Steve Stevens, you know, Billy Idol's lead guitarist, you know, ripping out the stuff. And you started seeing these heavy metal familiar faces showing up in rap videos, you know. But
yeah, I mean, I heard a lot of rap in high school, you know. I mentioned Sugar Hill Records. I went to school with, like, Sylvia Robinson owned Sugar Hill Records. She was our neighbor. So I went to school with her son Leland, and you know, I was kind of around that, but I never got into that, you know. Excuse me.
Hawkcat says Jimmy Page and Jay-Z. Oh, and Buzzard's in the chat now.
What's up, old Buzzard? Good to see you. Who else? Where we at? Jeez, it's been 2 hours already.
I just said.
Just flies by.
Well, no, lately it does. For some reason, it just. The other day I was, well, you saw it. I was into, we were at 2 hours and 15 minutes. I thought we were at an hour and 15 minutes.
Yeah, you were like,
Yeah, we still got 45 minutes left.
dude,
I'm like,
dude, what are we going 3 hours?
and I went pretty close. It probably went on another half an hour.
Dina says, I'm an 80s hairband chick. Well, then she'll have to tune into the show when we get Faster Man doing the music show with us, because he's going to have pictures of all those bands when they were kind of in their prime, you know?
Yeah, those are some good stories there, I'm sure. You know, I read long time ago. I read David Lee Roth's book, "Slippery When Wet."
Yeah,
and in the beginning of it, he says, the first thing he says, and if you're you know, if you're reading this to hear about all the sex, drugs, and rock and roll, or the sex, he's like, well, you're not going to find it here. You know what happened. I know what happened, but I'm not going to sit here and tell you about it. You know.
yeah.
And then it, you know, it proceeded to the whole story of how Van Halen got started and shit. And
Well, a lot of those bands were pretty close. And I think to some extent, there's kind of a respectful brotherhood where you might tell some stories just kind of tongue in cheek to, you know, raise some eyebrows, but you really wouldn't throw out the dirt that would bring disrespect, or, you know, if you had a story about how somebody abused a girlfriend, you aren't going to come out and tell that. I don't give a shit if you're 80 years old. You're not going to, just out of respect, you're probably not going to do that. And, but, because I mean, those bands, you couldn't really go out as a band and shit mouth another band easily, because you don't know. Your label might be telling you you're touring with them, or
Right.
they're opening with you for your next month, and you don't have a lot of say in that. So
yeah, it'd be a little awkward. Miss Dill says she worked in bars for a long time and heard enough music for 10 lifetimes. I had a blast when I worked in bars, when I bounced. You know, this one bar, it was a biker bar, heavy metal biker bar, but man, we had some great bands come through there.
yeah.
One day, Brian Wheat from Tesla walks through the door. It's like, what the fuck? Like, the hell
It's
you
funny
doing here?
because, you know, you hear these stories about these small bars, you know, and you think, well, how could that happen there? But, you know, really, when you think about it, you're talking about hundreds of bands over 2 decades, the 70s, 80s, 90s, hundreds of rock bands that existed. And they all went on tours all over the country. I mean, they played big cities, little cities, whatever, that pretty much every bar that's been around for at least a couple decades can say there's 3 or 4 times they had somebody really famous
Sure,
walk
walk through the door. Yeah.
It's not a stretch to see that happening when you do the math on it.
But I had a good time back then.
It was a great time to be growing up, man, in the 80s.
Well, I enjoyed like the biker bars over, say, the college bars because college
Yeah.
kids are assholes.
Kind of that roadhouse feel, to it.
Oh,
the
yeah,
little town kind of. You
This-
never really knew what to expect. I mean, that's the thing about college bars. You know what to expect. You can stand on the curb before you even walk in and almost describe what this place is going to look like.
Absolutely.
You go into a small town bar in the 80s or the 90s and the 70s, and it's like, dude, every night was.
Do we lose you?
I think I'm back.
Oh, there you are.
But yeah, every night in those bars was a different chapter. It was a different story. You never knew what was going to happen. I bartended at a couple different bars like that for about, when I first got out of the military and was going to college, I didn't really know what I wanted. I mean, I'd spent a lot of weekends bartending and different bars, and it was fun because you're talking about going to a place to work that you didn't know who you're going to meet, what was going to happen, would anybody get in a fight? Every night was different,
Yeah, this was a tiny little place called Wild Mike's. It was in Lodi, New Jersey. And it was tiny. I mean, but still on a Friday night, Saturday night, there was 5-6 bouncers.
Yeah.
It was, it got crazy in there, but it was fun. And I was always the one that ended up with blood on him. And it was never mine. Breaking up fights. I'd always, we used to have white shirts. We switched to black because I always
remember
sitting there with the club soda and the rag trying to get the fucking blood out of my shirt.
I bartended for a while at this really pretty big bar. That was kind of more of a country theme than, there was rock, but a lot of the country stuff. And I remember one night, like Garth Brooks and Travis Tritt were in town doing a concert. And after the concert, it was a Saturday night. It was like 11:30 at night. I'm bartending. This girl's like ordering a bunch of shots, and I'm putting them up, making them and putting them up. And she just pulls her shirt up and flips her boobs out. She goes, "Look, Travis Tritt signed my breasts or whatever." And I'm just like, well, make sure you never wash them, you could have had him sign something else that would last a lifetime, but
unless you're gonna go next door to the tattoo parlor and just have him tattoo
that. Face it in, but
it's there now. Grasshopper says, I saw Aerosmith every time they passed through town. Right on. No, I was always on the other side of the bar. I didn't work behind it unless I was like bar back and I'm just, loading it, restocking at the end of the night.
Yeah. It was just, there were so many fun stories you'd get people coming totally just ripped, like obnoxiously drunk. And they're like, I want a shot, and I'm like, well, what do you want? And they're like, you choose, and I'm like, okay.
Water it is.
And no, I those little rectangular bar mats that you mixed all your drinks on that had the rubber bristles.
No.
I'd just take that and dump it into a freaking shot glass and slide it up, and there you go. That one's on me.
That's nasty.
It's got 3 hours worth of drinks drizzled in it.
Overflow and spillage. Oh, back then probably some cigarette ashes.
Yeah, who knows?
That's not a good concert there, Leslie. I saw Supertramp and got puked on.
The logical
Take a look
song.
at my girlfriend. Oh, Tina's like, that's gross. then made out with the guy.
Oh man. Well, that's
Sorry.
one way to break the ice.
I think I'm good. Want a kiss?
I'd kiss you if I didn't have puke breath.
Oh, don't worry
bring it
about it, dear.
anyway.
It's all good.
It's super tramp, man. Live it up.
Tina says, I do miss smoking in the bars. Stevie and I went over to this it's in Castleberry over here. It's a veterans hall, but it used to be, I guess, a VFW. And we're in there, we kept going outside smoking. And then finally somebody walks up and puts an ashtray in front of us. She's like, you know, you guys can smoke in here. I'm like, what? Because it's a private club. Yeah, you have to join in order to smoke in there. We were just checking it out. Like you get 3 times to go in and, you know, feel it out. I think we got,
Before you have to join.
before you can, before you have to join. I think we got one more
There was
visit
all
left.
kinds of places like Moose Lodges and Elks Lodges.
Yeah,
where they'd have concerts sometimes, you know.
I used to be an elk. No, I was a moose.
A moose.
My dad was an elk. Well, those places are good though. You know, like the Moose Club, they have Moose Heart. Moose Heart is an organization that it's all about children with cancer. You know, they have a camp and everything, and they, you know, they do great things.
A lot of those organizations are dying. You know, it's like
and you know what amazes me is you don't see a younger crowd at the American Legion.
no, you know, for a long time, the VFWs and the American Legions throughout the 90s were kind of in crisis because other than Desert Storm in 91, there really wasn't a big period of, quote, what they would consider combat veterans. Okay.
Sure.
And so it was hard to attract the new generation. And then, you know, once Afghanistan, all that came on, a lot of those places have kind of flourished now as far as the American Legions and the VFWs. But the clubs, the Moose Lodges, the Elks Lodges, and all those kinds of places are just like, they just dried up.
They're still out there. It's just like I've noticed that you don't get a younger crowd into these American Legions, you know, young servicemen and women that they don't, you know, they'll go out to a bar, but they won't go to these places that are there for you, you know?
Yeah.
It's, you know,
kind of
just think
makes you
it's
wonder if there'll be a
underutilized.
new surge in that somehow. You know, maybe you don't call it the Elks or the Moose. Maybe it's the whatever club. Would people join it for a social experience of having a place to go, place they felt was safe, you know, maybe, but what would you attract them with other than music these days? But you know, the Elks Lodges and the Moose Lodges and places like that, a lot of them were rented out and used for wedding dances and
It's
like that.
I got my last time I got married was only my second time. I think I'm done.
The last time.
I
The fourth to the last time
we got married. I got
married.
married on a train. And then after that, when the train came back, we went to the Moose Lodge and had our reception. Don't remember that much of it, but I know we had it. I wish I quit drinking earlier. Might not have got married.
Oh,
But shit happens. Anyway, we're over the 2-hour mark.
there you go.
But
Well, it was fun. It was fun chatting with you again. What was I going to say? I think Pat might do a show tomorrow night. He was talking about, I don't know. But it was nice. Again, I really appreciated Jay Tuesday night on your show and what he shared. I think a lot of people did. But
absolutely,
it's what's really cool, too, what I've noticed is there's a lot of new names that are in the chat, and I think a lot of it is kind of spillover from when you did your show on
Oh, it
Valentine's
absolutely
Day.
is,
But
and I'm
it is
thrilled with that.
cool seeing so many new names in the chat, and hopefully someone will start clicking that link and coming on and chat with you. But
Well, first out of the gate, we got New Zealand in the house, and
mhm.
I didn't know some of these stories. These things existed down there. I had put my faith in Hilton to tell me the truth. No, I guess he didn't know, but no, I'd love to see these new faces. And like she said, she didn't know where she could go with her. She found a place now she can hang out. She wants to talk about it, get off her chest. She can do it, and no one's going to say boo.
Yeah.
And they're not going to bat an eyelash. They're going to like, oh wow, you're right. You okay with it, or whatever. So
Yeah. Well, you and Stevie take care. I'll let you go, and we'll talk to you again sometime here.
all right, Jeff.
All right.
Hi, Jeff.
Talk to you soon. Have a good night. She says it was awesome talking to you, and thanks for having me on, Mogs. And great to see Naoma and Leslie here. It is. I'm glad that people are comfortable enough that they just want to come out, hang out. Because that's what it's all about. I do this for you guys. You guys already know that. I don't have to repeat myself. But yeah, I want to thank everybody that showed up tonight. Everybody in chat, everybody that's watching. It's not in chat. I hope you guys enjoyed it. And think about popping in the chat. If you guys, like I said, you guys have something you want to talk about, bring it. We'll discuss it. If you haven't noticed, I don't come on with the plan. I just wing it and see, I just keep it organic and see where it goes. And it usually works. So keep on doing it. All right, guys. If you enjoyed this show tonight, please hit that like button. If you're new or, if you haven't subscribed yet, subscribe. Hit that notifications button and share. Let's get these numbers up. Let's get more people hanging out. I always said I don't want a big crowd, and I don't. I don't want to see chat go so fast that no one can, where I'd have to slow it down. I don't want to go crazy here, but I'd love to see new faces. So keep coming, guys. I appreciate it. Anyway, I will be back on Tuesday. You guys have an amazing rest of your week. Well, tomorrow's Friday, so it's the weekend. Woohoo! Sure I'll see you somewhere before then. All right, guys. See you then. Good night. Take care of each other and yourselves. All right. Peace and God bless.